Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Whitey and Wills show. This is episode number 30, and today is Sunday, April 10th. And we've got another guest on this week. We're switching gears a little bit. It's been a while since we've had a golf-related guest. In fact, I think maybe Phil Zakari, way back in the very early stages of this project, was our first golf-related guest. And so we're going to get back to that. We have got Macy Ludwig on the show here tonight. Macy, she's a freshman golfing at Illinois Wesleyan University. She's a St. Anthony High School product, and she's having a pretty good start to her collegiate golfing career. So Mike pulled the strings. As usual, the booking agent for the show has done a good job of getting the guest. And so Macy, welcome aboard.
Thanks for having me.
Mike, yeah, you made this happen, so I'm going to
let me ask I get to talk this time?
I'm sure I'll come up with something good before it's all said and done. I mean, I've got a lot of years interviewing people, but I'm going to let you get the ball rolling tonight.
Right.
So Macy, thanks for joining us, and we'll let Mike get the grilling underway here.
Well, Macy may be tired. She just finished a tournament today. She's been playing the last 2 days, so.
I mean, I got my coffee, so we're all good now.
You're good now. Plus, you played at home, so it's a short trip.
Exactly.
Yeah, short trip. Well, to be honest, when we talked about your accomplishment last week, Macy, last week, I think it was, down in St. Louis, you guys won a tournament hosted by Missouri St. Louis, I think was the host.
Wash U. Okay, Wash U. And you tied the school record first day of the tournament, shot a 67. All right, which is incredible. Came back second day with a 78. You were co-medalists for the tournament. And for those who are non-golfers out there, that means the first place finisher in a tournament. And our area has had a lot of golfers go on and play at the collegiate level, be it junior college to Division I. I've gone back and tried to look at things. I don't know we've ever had a medalist before, Macy. And I think that's, in my opinion, that's an incredible accomplishment for what you did there. That's awesome. And so I said, well, let's get her on. I'm sure she likes to talk golf. So for sure. Yep.
Well, good for you. And so I do have a question about that first tournament, a couple questions. Since the days when Morgan played, I still follow golf stats, and I'll still go on and, I check tournaments when you play, and Avery Bush, you and your brother, anybody else from the area is playing. I'll just kind of Kennedy Collier, I'll check on them and see how they're doing in tournaments.
Yep.
And I saw your score on that. You started that first day with an eagle.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, it didn't look to be a short par 4. So how did you eagle it?
I hit my driver left of the fairway. I mean, I still had a shot at the green, but I don't know. I was kind of on the edge of like the woods, so I thought it was fine. Like, wasn't too happy with it. And then, like, me and my coach, we were looking at the wind for my approach shot, and it was like 120 yards. And usually that's kind of like in between clubs, but the wind was helping. So I pulled my pitching, and then I just hit it really good right at the pin. But the green was like elevated, so I couldn't see it actually go in, but my whole family was there, so they saw it and they were just going nuts. And I was like, oh, I guess I just hold out or something.
Now, wait a minute. There were Ludwigs following you guys on a course to watch you play?
Yes, it was the first time since like fall, so it was fun. But usually, yeah, they usually come to a lot.
and that's awesome. I love it. I love coaching high school golf, and then when I'd go to college tournaments and seeing people and stuff, and that's really neat. And they got to see it go in. So you knew by your reaction you'd done something special.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, that's good. And then you finished the day 67. Second day, and I came home at lunch, and I thought, I'm going to check the scores, and your lead was getting smaller.
Yeah, I the second day I had so they pushed the tees back. I didn't really start very good. And then I had like a 5-hole bogey streak and I was like, I'm not in the lead anymore. I'm out of it. And my coach comes up to me on the 17th hole and was like you're not out of it. You're tied or you're one back right now. And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then he stuck with me and like we finished out and we were talking as a team and he was like, "If I would have told Macy like if we could have strung those good shots together before when I was on that bogey train, then like I would have won by like 2 or 3 strokes instead of tying."
Because
But
you actually fell behind. When I was looking at it, at one
yeah,
point you were like 2 strokes behind, and then you
yeah,
finished, I think, par, and the person you ended up tying with, she bogeyed 2 of her last 3 holes. Now, was she
yeah.
in your group or was she in another group?
She was in my group. She
Okay.
kinda yeah, so she started kinda, I don't know, like, not hitting it great, like, she kinda duffed one, and she had to hit some good shots to make up for what she was doing,
Right.
and so she kinda just fell out of it, which, I mean, it was good for me, but, I mean, I had those bogeys, but when she was parring, so it was like,
Right. Right.
it evened out, I guess.
You both played giveaway just at different
Yeah,
times of the match. Um,
exactly.
Now, one of the things you mentioned, and the thing in golf that is new at the high school level in the last couple of years, where coaches can actually talk to kids during a match, because you could used
Mhm.
to talk to them strictly from green to tee. Now you can talk to them
Oh.
all the way through the hole. And it sounds like that was good because your coach kind of got your frame of mind back, because confidence is huge in the game
Mhm.
of golf.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The day before, after you shot that eagle, you probably felt like I can get in the woods and get birdie. I can do anything I want.
Yeah. The first day was crazy, but I mean, I wasn't expecting anything crazy on the second day, but I knew that I needed to, like, stick with it, but 78, it was alright.
Yeah, I understand. Now, little bird told me you didn't putt real well the first day. You could have had a few more birdies.
Oh, yeah, I definitely could have had a few more, and I actually when I shot the 67, I actually had a double,
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
I missed, like it was like a 2-footer. I missed it, and oh, I was fuming. I was so mad because at that point I was 3 under, and then after that hole I was only 1 under, and then after that it was kind of a like struggle to get par just because I was making like kind of longer putts, but yeah, I came back after that, so it was good.
Okay. Now, did you see the finish to the Masters today?
I heard that he 4 putted, but he still won or something.
Scotty Scheffler 3-putted on 18 from probably 4 feet.
Oh,
I
oh,
mean,
I
he
did
had
not
a
know
one.
that.
He had like a 5-shot lead. But yeah, he finally, after his third putt he missed, the second one from probably 3 to 4 feet, he started laughing, covered up his face, shaking his head. He was just, and then but he had such a big lead. He
Yeah.
probably, I'm assuming he's lost all his focus. His life will never be the same after he puts this green jacket on. And he was
Mhm.
probably more nervous with a big lead making a 3-footer than he was all day or all
Yeah.
tournament.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
amazing you see them miss those putts, and
Mhm.
it kind of brings it into perspective.
All right,
Yep.
so let me interject here for a second, because you said you were fuming, okay, but then you went on and
Mhm.
played well. Because here's my thing. Anytime I ever played golf in my life, once something like that happened, then the round was over because I couldn't get my act back together. Everything just went down the toilet from there. So what do you have something that you do to calm yourself back down, or is it just I've played so much, I've played so many rounds in my life, like I understand these things happen and you just move on? Like, how does that work?
It's kind of a mix of both. Just like I mean, I've been playing for so long, so like I know my game is more of I usually start off like all right, and then I usually finish out strong. I don't know why it is. I think it's just because, like, I mean, you have a hole, you can't change what just happened. You just got to go to the next one. And honestly, it's not like you're tied to the last hole. It's not like I mean, obviously it's going to affect your score, but like the holes in front of you are way more important than what just happened because you can't change it. So I was really really mad just walking to the tee. I was so mad, but then yeah, I then I hit a really bad shot and I actually got really lucky, but then that was just like I was like the golf gods, they saved me on this one, so I really got to get my act together or else I'm going to lose all of what I just did. So,
You don't want to wait when the tree gnomes help you and throw a ball back for you. You do not want to waste those opportunities.
no.
So,
No.
or the bladed ball out of the bunker that hits the stick. There's all kinds of things where hey, maybe this is my day to do something.
Yeah.
So as a team, you guys won that tournament. Turn around this week, you played your home course there, Ironwood, which is on the north side of Bloomington Normal up there, right on the interstate. Actually, you can hit a ball, I think, off of 17's tee onto the interstate if you're not careful.
Yeah,
I may
you
have
could.
I may have seen that done in a junior tournament when my daughter was playing. Now, she didn't hit it on the interstate, but I did see a ball go bouncing down the interstate. So
Yeah.
it can happen. You guys won again today, so you won your second tournament in a row. You finished, I believe, 7th
Yes.
as an individual.
Yeah. I jumped 20 spots, so
Yeah, I saw that.
it was a tough day, but yeah.
Hey, it was warmer.
Yeah, it was warmer. It was 30, 38, 35 mile per hour winds, like very, very tough. Like my assistant coach has played a lot of golf. And he said it was like the second or third windiest he's seen ever in a competitive tournament like that. Like it was crazy. It was like our balls were moving like on the green, carts were going. My scorecard almost went in the pond because like it just flew out. It's crazy.
So we played in a tournament down in Forest Park when Morgan was playing. And the winds, the tees or the flags were incredible, but she had a ball on the green and she marked it and did something, had her coin down and went to do something, and the wind blew it. Luckily she had marked it, and the wind blew it off the green 40 yards down a hill, and it was, we were shocked because there were other tournaments in St. Louis that were canceled because of the forecasted wind.
Oh yeah.
And they had played this one, and it was bad. It was really bad. So you guys, I see, are now ranked in your level. You guys are D2 or 3?
3.
Okay, so I saw you guys are ranked. So you guys have to win your conference to go to nationals, or how is that done, Macy?
Yeah, so there's the conference is in the fall. So we've already had ours.
Okay.
We lost to Carthage. Carthage played really, really good, and we also played really good, but we just didn't beat them. But yeah, so we're just trying to win tournaments and beat the people that we need to beat this spring so that we can get an invitation to go to the national championship.
So where's the nationals at for you guys?
It's in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, that's pretty neat. And especially if you go, because we went down to the junior college one at LPGA International in Daytona, and man, they roll out the red carpet for you. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's really neat. And yeah, and I'll tell you, I was so amazed at the quality of golfers I was, able to see in the other groups. Girls who I know were going to pretty big name D1 schools, because you'd hear their coaches talking about it. Well, she's got offers from X, Y, and Z. And you're like, wow, So it's really neat. And just to say, hey, I was at a national tournament, and it's usually, I don't know if it's 4 rounds over 4 days. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I bet.
So, well, that's good. So, couple questions. First off, high school golf to college golf. What's the biggest difference?
I don't know. Maybe just like I mean, we get to travel a lot more farther places. Like we went to Phoenix and Dallas and Destin. Like we get to play really good courses and we get to see a lot of good golf. And like I don't know, I just really like the team that I have now, and I'm so excited to see where we can go. And I mean, I loved golf in high school, of course, but I college is different, and it really like just makes me love the sport even more. And it could just be the team and the coaches because we have an awesome team and coaches. But yeah,
Well,
it's fun.
and one of the things, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but golf's a big priority for all of your teammates right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in
Yep.
high school, you've got people who are playing because they're playing, but they've got no aspiration to play beyond. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're
Yep.
with people who all are focused. The one thing
Mhm.
I noticed the biggest was the yardage.
Oh, yeah.
Because in high school, it was driver pitching wedge into every par four they played, or drive it
Yep.
up by the green and just bump it on. In
Mhm.
college, all of a sudden it's driver hybrid into a green surrounded by bunkers and there's no place to miss. And it's like, it was just a rude awakening on Morgan's experience when we went through.
Yes, but like I will say that some courses are longer than others. But I think D3 moved the yardages down.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so we play like 5,600, 5,800. I think our tournament might have been longer. I don't know, or maybe it just felt like it was longer because of the wind. But
Because of the wind, sure.
yeah, the yardage definitely is different because in high school it was just like, let's see how far I can rip my driver. Now it's like I need to rip my driver so I can hit like a 8 or a 9, or sometimes it's pitching because now it's kind of short. But yeah.
Well, here's a par four. I think I can drive this green. Now it's like, well, I've got to hit it good to not be hitting a long iron into a green.
Yeah.
And, you know, every par five, I doubt there was a par five you played in high school that you couldn't get to in two. And now
Oh,
you have holes that you don't have that opportunity.
yeah. Yep. Some of them are like that for sure.
You talked about the travel. Some fly, obviously you're going to Phoenix, Dallas, these places you're flying. Other places, you're all piled in a van.
Yep.
I'm guessing laptops out, doing homework while you're driving, the glamours of college
Yeah.
golf. So how's that? How do you adapt to that?
College it's crazy because you go from like 7 classes in high school to only like 4 in college, but it's so much more work and everything. But a lot of us get our work done ahead of time so we don't have to do it on the bus or anything, just because I know some girls get like nauseous while we're driving and stuff.
Sure.
And usually I just like to enjoy the ride and be with like the girls. But yeah, sometimes there's instances whenever I have to take and we all did this the day I shot 67 was a Sunday. So we all went back. We're like, oh, we have papers, we have to turn in this and that. And we were up probably later than we should have been because we had an early tea time trying to turn stuff in. So, I mean, it's a balance. You got to have like a schedule, and, you know, you got to be planning stuff ahead of time and looking weeks ahead because you will fall behind if you don't.
Right. And also you have that most professors and people you deal with, people that are teaching are going to work with you, but sometimes you've got that person that says, hey, I'm not giving anybody any breaks. This is when this is due, or you missed class here. Well, I was in Dallas playing in a tournament, you know. So good communication with your professors is a key.
Yep. Yes, it is.
What are you studying?
They will not. Right now my major is accounting, but I think I'm going to change it, but I don't really know what to. Something in business.
It's good, you know. Now when you're traveling, and I'd hear these complaints from a close member of my family. Well, we got stuck with so-and-so in our hotel room, and they have to have the thermostat at 40 degrees, and we're dying, we're freezing, and they can't sleep unless it's 40 degrees in the room. It's got to be tough. And I'm sure you've got so-and-so's got everything all spread out over the floor. You can't even walk because there's stuff's everywhere. How do you cope with that?
Well, see, I have a really good roommate. She's here right now. She just heard that, but usually we stay together and like we're really similar. So, I mean, we're both put together. I mean, sometimes you get a room with some other girls, but all the girls on the team they're organized. Yeah, we've got some good girls. So, I mean, it's not really like, and the temperature, I mean, we usually like to sleep decently cold, but we figure it out.
All right, good. I've heard about arguments. I don't know who told me, but I've heard about enough arguments over the day. So
yeah.
Let me ask something here. As far as I mean, I don't know much about what the practicing in high school golf is like, but is there? I assume that how is your practice time spent in college? Is it different? Are there, do you work on specific things more? What have you had to really address or have learned that you really need to address in your first year as a college player?
We work on like a lot more specific stuff at practice. It's still really fun because the coaches make it fun. Like we'll do like competitions for Starbucks or whatever, but it's usually really specific stuff that we need to work on that we're missing like a few strokes from. Like right now we're working on like 5-footers and stuff because those are clutch putts that we got to make like at least 50% or more or less. But like the range time is different because the coaches like they help you and they're saying, okay, now switch to your driver and try to hit this, or well, now we're going to go wedges and aim at this, and whoever hits the target first like wins and stuff like that. Where in like high school it was kind of just come to practice, hit the balls. If you're having trouble, if you think you need help, then the coach will look at you. But I mean, usually like when we were in high school, it was just we all had swing coaches. If we were I don't know how to say it, like really into golf, then we would go and get lessons. It wasn't really like we had someone there. Like our coaches, they can see exactly what we're doing wrong, like right when we do it. So it's really nice to have them there, and it's definitely different than high school. It's more specific practice. So
and the
you
competitive. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, do you like that? I mean, it sounds like you find that favorable too. Like you enjoy that atmosphere.
Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, we improve a lot quicker whenever like they see what we're doing on the course, what we're doing wrong, and then we can practice it. So then we get better, and we have gotten better at a few things that we practice. So
and making it competitive, and that's a good thing because all of your teammates are probably pretty competitive individuals to be playing golf here. So if it's hit, who's going to hit it close to that flag at the 100-yard marker for the $10 Starbucks card, they don't want you to walk away with that card. They want the card. So that's a good thing, and that kind of drives you guys, and that's what it's really about. If you're focusing and you're practicing things with a purpose, not just, hey, I'm going to hit half a bucket of balls and then I'm going to get in the cart and we're going to go back 9 and play 8 holes and then go home.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. It's really competitive on our team. Like, we've broken a lot of records so far, and like we want to like keep breaking each other's records, and it's fun. But we're a team and we like to win, so it's fun.
So of your top 5, Lexi, how many are seniors?
We don't have any seniors.
Okay, so really everyone can be back next year. You have right now.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's good. Really good.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if I had another question. And I'm trying to think what it was.
This is why you ride.
Oh, well, I know one thing. You shot 67 last week, and I saw in between then and today, your brother shot 68, 69. So is that still kind of family bragging rights you got there?
I actually didn't know that he he shot that, so that's good to know.
I saw they were in a match play, so
Okay.
but I think your mother posted those scores on social media, and I thought, well, that's pretty impressive. But they were playing in a match play tournament, so I thought, oh, Macy's got a little bragging rights there over Luke.
I mean, mine was a par 70, so it's only 3 under kind of thing. But I mean, he's really good. So I mean, we like to play in the summer and see who can beat who. But
you don't get no smack talking while you're playing, is there?
Not really. No.
None at all, brother, sister. Don't, hey, nice putt, or hey, nice ball, no gigging on the course.
It's like slightly, but it's more like I feel like we help each other out. I mean, when my dad's there and it's like, okay, you two are a team and you two are a team, then it's like, okay, then there's some of that. But
yeah, that's all right. Well, see, your dad brings that into the equation. That's good. That's good.
Yep.
And your brother's a nice player also.
Yep.
I've seen him play in a few high school matches this past year. He's going to be a pretty good player himself as he continues to develop. All right, Macy, here's my last question for you. And this is the one you got to think long and hard about. Have you played a round of golf with your mother?
Like she played as well?
Yeah, not just watching. Her actually play.
And you're talking 18 holes?
Well, I don't, can she last 18 holes?
Well, so we do like a Ludwig family scramble sometimes, and it's like 5 of us. So she's played in that, and we played like 9 holes, and she actually, we took some of her shots, so it was pretty nice.
Wow, I figured it would be in a scramble setting, but now I'm impressed that she's got a little cred there.
Yep.
Well, I'll have to let her know I was impressed with that.
Yep.
Why do you got anything else?
No, I was going to say if there's any like stuff from the St. Anthony days that you wanted to hit on, as far as questions before we let her go. I did some quick research before we started and saw that you were basically top 4 from the get-go. Was college golf something that was on your mind before you ever actually played around for St. Anthony High School?
Oh yeah, I mean, whenever I was like a 5th grader, I was like, oh, I wanna go D1, like all this stuff. But I mean, as the years go on, like that was always my dream, and obviously like D1, that's some serious golf. And as I headed into like sophomore, junior year, and with COVID, it was kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. And even my senior year, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, if I wanted to go play golf or go to a bigger university, or what I wanted to do. But then I visited here, and the coaches is just like family here. So I was like, yep, that's where I'm going. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna, and here at Wesleyan, it's like you, if you want to be good, like you can play, but you can also just be on the team and just enjoy the atmosphere and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. So if I wanted to just, hang out, I guess I could do that. But no, I'm really glad that I chose here because it's a lot of fun.
Well, and I want to wish you nothing but the best. I hope you guys qualify for nationals. It's a great experience.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA does, no matter what division, they do it right, and it is a lot of fun. Like you said, you've got to see a lot of nice courses. I've got to go watch at LPGA International, and there was a course in Nashville built in a rock quarry that was just awesome. You were in a
Yeah.
bowl. You stood at the clubhouse and you could see the whole course. It was like
Yeah.
down in a bowl, and it was really, really interesting. But good luck. Keep your winning streak as a team going. That they have
Yeah.
to invite you if you keep beating everybody.
Exactly.
So, and you've
exactly.
beaten Carthage, because wasn't Carthage at that tournament last week?
Yes, but something with their team, they only brought 4, and I don't know, something weird happened. So I don't know what they're gonna.
They knew they were going to get beat, so they had to build in a reason.
Yep.
That works. That works. Anything you want to add, Miss Macy?
I don't think so.
Well, you're our first high school or college athlete we've actually had on the show. It's only been
Awesome.
coaches or old retired people. So see, you're a trendsetter here. So
There we go. Yep.
yeah, you did a good job. Some people thought you may be bashful, and no, you told me that would not be an issue. And
All she has to do is promise us after they qualify for nationals and she goes and plays, that maybe she'll come back and give us another half hour to tell us all about it.
Talk about her experience.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So that'll work. We may have to have your brother on too, give him some equal time.
Yeah, you definitely should. He's probably got some cool stories too.
Yeah. Well, he had a hole in one of his matches, didn't he?
He's had 3, I think.
3.
So I
Have you
don't
had
know
any?
which one. No.
I haven't either.
Only cool thing I've done is hold out, and that was 2 weeks ago or a week ago. So yeah.
Does frisbee golf count? I did it over at Pulse, or over at Community Park one time. No.
I mean,
I saw
it'll
my
count
daughter's
for
hole in
frisbee
one.
golf.
Yeah, I was playing with my daughter when she got hers on number 8 at the country club, but I never saw it go in the hole because it was in the bottom and she was playing, I don't know, from the white tees, and we didn't see it go in, but we knew it was close, and there it was. So that's as close as, I've been all over it, but I've never got one. So
Yeah,
someday.
it's cool to watch. I watched Luke's first one, and my whole family got to watch it too. So it was cool.
Well, Jacqueline Jansen got one at the NCAA tournament when she was playing with Baylor. Her family and a lot of friends were down at that tournament and all saw her get a hole in one down there. So that's a great
awesome.
feather in your cap there. So, all right. Well, Miss Macy, we wish you luck. We hope to talk to you again sometime as you continue to progress.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
And
Appreciate
tell
it.
your family we said hello and it all went well.
Okay, I will.
All right. That's Macy Ludwig, freshman golfer at Illinois Wesleyan University. We thank her for her time. We'll give her a chance to duck on out of the call, and we will move on to some discussion of the local high school sports scene. So thanks again to Macy. I am all right. So that was great. Mike, more ball got played this week than I thought. Maybe when I saw the forecast at the beginning of the week.
I'll tell you what, I did that Effingham Dietrich game with Matt on the radio, and thank God we were inside and there was a furnace.
Yeah,
because it was spitting rain a couple times and the wind was blowing pretty good the whole time. And it was one of those games that went a full 7 innings. And when outfielders are jumping up and down and dancing between pitches, it's called.
I've been there. I've done it. I still remember my senior year in high school. We opened our season at Charleston, and there was you could see the snowfall in that day. It was, as it turns out, we were just should have just been glad to get to play because it rained so much that spring, but that's kind of the nature of it. You get those games in when you can, because you never know when it's just going to be too wet to play for a week. In that game, I tuned in briefly before I had places to be, and heard the score after 2 innings and thought, well, at least they're going to be out of there pretty quick, because it seemed like Effingham was on their way to a 5-inning game, but I guess it turned out to be a little bit tighter battle for the Hearts.
Well, and to be honest, and Matt and I talked about it, Effingham scored 3 in the first, but they had runners on second and third, I want to say, and left-handed hitter up. So I don't know if it was a number 3 hitter. It was Harper, Jack Harper was up.
Yes. Okay.
And Hall kept coming down the line, like our good runner did, especially a runner with speed and a savvy runner. And of course, being a left-handed hitter, Pete Britton's got clear view of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he came up and Hull's trying to get back. And I don't know if he slipped a little, but he's out. He's going to be out. And Britton's throw was about 1.5 feet off the ground. And as Hull's diving back, it hits the back of his helmet, almost like the fold at the back of his helmet, knocked his helmet off. Luckily, it kind of carried him off the third baseman and stayed there, but he's out. I mean, they would have had him had the ball not struck him in the helmet. And then a couple errors on hard hit balls on the infield. And to be honest, Dietrich could have been out of that first inning without a run. And it just, and then Dietrich started getting some runs later, and Effingham kind of started booting the ball around a little bit. It just was one of those games where, hey, it's 40 degrees, there's 20-mile-an-hour winds, and it's spitting rain about every 5 minutes. It looked like it was played under those conditions, which it was.
It turned out, yesterday turned out to be a pretty nice day, and I know the team's got some games in. Effingham, they played Dietrich on Thursday. They won that one. They played T-Town on Monday and lost that one 7-4. I had that one, and that was an interesting game because the lead changed hands a couple of times late.
T-Town scored all those runs without getting the ball out of the infield, didn't they?
Yeah, they didn't. By my book, they didn't have a hit in their 4-run inning in the top of the.
I heard your interview with Justin. He said it was iffy because that one was kind of a swinging bunt fielder's choice type play.
I had to bail out while the coaches were being interviewed. I did hear that one on the radio on my way back to Neoga. I had a meeting I was trying to get to. So, I'll defer to Justin, but either way, the point kind of stands, it was just more that they got a few breaks and, Effingham had a little trouble, defensively in that inning, but tough way to lose. And then the Hearts, they had Muhammad this weekend in the Apollo Conference and dropped both of those. They lost an 8-inning game, 5-3, and then 9-0 in the second game. So
that first game they faced the Muhammad kid who's going to Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Walters, his folks are here. His dad's from Effingham.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and pretty highly rated pitcher. So, and then the second game I didn't get to see. I went out and saw some of the first game. A lot of strikeouts between the two pitchers that first game.
That's what you're and really the way the Apollo, as long as I've been paying attention, always has been, is that these are schools that are of a size that every team is going to have at least one pitcher that's going to throw a conference game every week and he's going to be out there throwing darts. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way it always has been and always will be. It's going to be. You
don't want to waste that opportunity because there's times in the midweek people will beat an Apollo team and kind of thump their chest and say, look, we beat them. Well, you may have faced number 5 in their rotation.
Which is not to take anything away from an accomplishment like, say, St. Anthony beating 2 Apollo teams this week. They beat Mount Zion. They beat 3. They beat Mount Zion, they beat Muhammad, and they beat Mattoon. And, again, I get it, right? Those are schools that play their conference games on Saturday, but and we talked about this when we talked to the coaches, a lineup is a lineup. And again, most of those.
Yeah, their hitters are still there.
Yeah. So that's a good St. Anthony's 6-2, they were supposed to play a triangular deal with Tuscola and Lanark Eastland. I have no idea. I couldn't find any results for that. I was kind of looking around this afternoon a little bit. So for all I know, they could be 8-2, they could be 6-4, but they've they're getting games in, which is nice. As far as baseball goes, I was kind of just looking for other things around the area of interest. Windsor Stew Straws, which is not surprising to me, is off to a really good start. They're 8-1, and the only game they lost was to what seems to be a pretty good Newton team. So, keep your eye on the Hatchets. They had a good basketball team this year on the boys' side, and they seem to have a pretty good baseball team. And also their softball team is 7-0. They haven't lost yet.
Yeah, in the NTC, that's generally, it seems like if you have a good basketball team, you've got a pretty good baseball team.
Yeah,
'Cause
athletes.
you've got athletes. They
Yeah.
carry you.
That's those. It does seem to be that the culture in those schools is more that athletes play the sports. That there's not quite as much division as you might have in specialization. I mean, it doesn't always happen for sure, but yeah, the Windsor Stew Straws undefeated softball team. You heard Ella Kinkler's name a lot during the basketball season for them. She was an all-conference basketball player. Well, she's a pretty good hitter too. 14 for 23 so far on the season. That's a 609 batting average.
Over 500.
679 on base. And they've got a pitcher by the name of Carly Bean. She's got 53 strikeouts and 32 in the third inning. She's done most of their pitching. So it seems to be they've got a pretty good squad. And speaking of pretty good teams, St. Anthony softball, they're 9-2. They got beat by Tolono Unity the first game of the season, and then they won 9 in a row. They lost to Freeburg yesterday on Saturday, but had a 9-game winning streak. And they went to state in 1A last year, and so now they're going to have to, when they go in the postseason, it's going to be 2A. And I guess the natural question is going to be like, how are they going to stack up there as opposed to 1A? Well, it seems to me like they've got a couple of pretty good pitchers and and a lot of kids who can hit. And so I'm not worried about them. I don't think. Will they go to state again? Who knows? A lot of things have to go right.
It's a tough road. However, they're going to be very competitive in that mix. And they got a lot of experience back.
That's the thing.
A lot of kids who can play, and that's the key. They are playing well. I saw Michaela briefly this past week, maybe it's Thursday, and she said, yeah, we're really playing well. She said that tournament at Round Tool, she said, we faced some really, really good teams, and we just won.
Yeah. And, you've got Lucy Fearday and Sydney Kibler doing most of the pitching for them, and they've both put up good numbers. I mean, You take out, especially if you factor in since the loss to Unity. I mean, Lucy pitched that game, but overall she's got a 1.30 ERA. She's got 34 strikeouts against 7 walks in 27 innings, and that's with an 8-1 loss on the opening day of the season. So you take that out, and she's been really good since then. And really Kibler, I mean, the numbers are even better. 18 innings, 33 strikeouts against 9 walks and a sub-1 ERA. So, that's great. And then they've got some kids hitting the ball, of course, too. Cameron Rios, 13 for 32. That's a 406 batting average. But in 35 plate appearances, she hasn't struck out one time, which is pretty impressive.
And she's a pain in the butt when she's up the plate because of her speed.
Yes. She's one of those, correct me if I'm wrong, but she's one of those lefty hitters that
she's a slapper.
Ball, but she
can turn on it.
Yeah, I was going to say she's also hit 3 home runs. So she's not just trying to smack the ball over to third base and beat it out. You know what I'm saying? Right. You can clearly do some other stuff. Anna Faber hitting 550 with a 640 on base. This is all based on their Max Preps page. So if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but should be pretty close. And speaking of Cameron Rios's 3 home runs, well, T-Town's got a girl by the name of Courtney Gibson, who has also hit 3 home runs this year. T-Town's 7-2, so they're off to a good start.
They hit back-to-back against Aldemont Gibbs, or Oh my goodness. I should have written it down. I can't remember the Medi girl's first name who hit the first one. And then Gibson followed up and hit a second one. And then Gibson hit another one in the game for her too. But I think she's hit 3 this year. I think Medi's hit 2. Estella Medi. I think she's hit 2. Yeah, they've got a solid group. Their biggest question mark was replacing their starting pitcher. And Gibson girl has now become the starting pitcher. She's done most of their pitching, not all of it.
All but 9 2/3 innings. So
yeah,
most of it.
And I saw a picture the other day. They had a picture of Coach Tipton in the snow, and she was worshiping the snow. Being a Canadian, she thought it was normal to play softball in the snow.
Well, I don't.
She's a little out of balance.
I want to know if she, does she have any? She's gotten a lot of attention over the years for the crazy get-ups that she wears to school around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Is there ever like some sort of a special crazy outfit for coaching, or are we all business when it comes to that?
I don't know.
We should have asked her when we had her on.
I know. Yeah, I know she's got a glove that's got the Canadian flag or all kinds of Canadian memorabilia all over it. So and proud to be an American is no longer in the pregame playlist. She's removed that from Rich Nieberge's playlist, so they no longer play that pregame while they're warming up. So I don't know. It's one of those things.
The one thing. I know she's a Chiefs fan, which is a bit of a problem for me.
That's a problem.
What are you going to do? I'm looking. South Central had a really good softball team last year, and they're off to a 7-4 start too. I thought I'd throw a mention in there. They played this weekend, and they got beat by Woodlawn, but apparently Woodlawn is really good. Woodlawn's one of those little schools down south where, some years you don't hear much about them, but they have these groups come through. And
Woodlawn and Goreville. It's like, okay, if you can play sports, you go to that school.
Yeah, I know. Like Woodlawn's had some boys basketball teams in the not so pretty recently that were really solid, and so it seems like Ted Kerner's got that team going pretty good. I'm just glad to see him in the coaching game again, and so that's been nice for them.
Did Effingham lose both games to Muhammad yesterday?
They did. They're off to a tough start. They got beat 10-0 and 11-6. They're 1-3 in the Apollo, 2-6 overall. Jerry, when he was on, he talked about how they've got some youth.
Right.
Sage Altoff's a freshman, and she's done most of their pitching so far. And she hasn't, honestly, the numbers are not too bad for her. The big thing for Effingham, as much as anything, is, putting some more runs on the board. They need to figure out how to put a few more runs on the board. Grace Busher is one exception to that. She's hit 3 home runs this season. So, wanted to get her a mention, 455 average. So she's doing a good job, but it's been a little bit of a challenging start for the Hart softball team.
Yeah, we were talking baseball. I saw T-Town split Saturday with Salem. Lost the first game, gave up 4 in the 7th, and they were all unearned. So I think they got beat like 4-3 or 5-4. I forget what the score was. I was reading Justin's box score on it, and all the runs were unearned. So they split there. I'm trying to think who else, because they had a couple days that were playable, but it was games they had open on their schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this coming week, it doesn't look promising for getting a lot of games in.
Hey, does it ever look promising in March and April? It's I don't know. We're going to start having my daughter's youth games. We were supposed to play yesterday and probably could have, as it turns out, but it was not looking so good, and so they went ahead and called it off. And
10U softball when the temperature is under 60 is a bad idea. I'm just saying.
Well, I can't imagine that it would be anything but enjoyable to watch a bunch of 9-year-olds walking people in 52-degree weather.
No,
But maybe not. I don't know.
no, not a good thing there. So hopefully we'll get a little rhythm and everybody can get 4 games in a week here. That's the key, because before you know it, we're going to be talking about the city series.
Yeah.
I think the St. Anthony T-Town play this week.
They play tomorrow. Yeah, they play Monday.
Okay.
They play
And
tomorrow.
Monday's the one day we may not have rain.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty. I think it's supposed to be pretty nice tomorrow, so they should get that one in. That's going to be on the radio. As far as I know, I'm not involved in that one. I know I'll. With yeah, you would ask me that. You would ask me that, and I would not know. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit and kill time while I look it up on the exit.
While you're looking, did you hear I got to do a half inning of play-by-play the other day?
I didn't hear that. How did that go?
Oh, well, I've already got calls from a few major league teams.
KMOX. They're like,
yeah. The Mighty Mox is already reaching out to me.
Can't be
John
any
Rooney.
worse than what we
They don't think Ricky Horton and John Rooney are going to be able to handle it.
You know, I'm not the biggest Ricky Horton fan in the world. I got to tell you, we don't have to get into it, but he's not toward the top of my list. But I also, listen, I enjoy the broadcast stylings of Chip Carey, like 100 games a season. So I'm not, I have a high tolerance for irritating broadcasters. That game, St. Anthony's hosting that game. So it must
be a Paul Smith Field.
Yeah. So that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one. I'm interested to see how that one turns out. And here I'm going to switch gears, because we were kind of talking about what we want to do for our Attaboy this week, and I went ahead and took a look at the boys tennis stuff that was going on this week, because seems like they finally got their season kind of going in earnest. I think that there'd been a little bit of tennis before last week, but not much. And listen, I'm not an expert. Okay, I can't speak real intelligently on it, but I
just play one on TV.
I mean, I used to play a little bit, not in high school or anything, but just for fun. But as far as breaking it down and talking about it, I'm not gonna be able to do it justice. But I was looking at how the local schools that play, which is T-Town, St. Anthony, and Effingham, as far as who we talk about, how they were doing, and they all had a pretty good week. T-Town got a couple of wins. They beat Casey 9-0 and Salem 6-3. And the way that works, in case you don't know, they play 6 singles matches and 3 doubles matches at these varsity tennis meets. And
however, I think it's up to the host school to decide that, because I've seen some only play like 5-1. Yeah, sometimes you'll have they don't do it that way.
Yeah, I think it depends on numbers as much as anything. I think that's.
Or how can I manipulate it where we have a chance of beating you?
I guess. I mean, based on my time at the newspaper, it was pretty standard 6 singles,
6 and 3. Yeah,
that was generally how they did it. So anyway, T-Town a couple of wins. St. Anthony split. They got Maroa Forsyth 9-0, and then Mount Zion beat them 5-4. And then Effingham, they played 3 times last week. They beat Robinson 6-3. They lost to Flora 6-3, and they beat Paris 6-3. And so here's where I'm going with this. I was looking at the results from those, trying to see if anything stuck out to me, because I thought it would be nice to recognize a tennis player. We kind of go with the more mainstream sports to get a little more publicity, for better or worse. I'm not going to try to editorialize here, but baseball and basketball is what I know more, right? And so that's what we talk about. But a young man by the name of Thad Dillow had a real good week for Effingham. Won all 3 of his number 1 singles matches, and that means that he's playing. He's the top player for Effingham, playing against whoever the other team is designated as their top singles player. And then he was also, along with Blaine Powell's, on the number 1 doubles team for Effingham in all 3 of those meets. And they won all 3 of their number 1 doubles matches too. And so I thought, this is a great opportunity for us to branch out a little bit, to get a little tennis time in there. And, maybe throw one of these out to Mr. Dillow. You like that, Mike? That was
good.
That was good.
Good volume, good timing. It's amazing when you do it.
Anytime you wanna fire up the Zoom on your home computer and
Nope. That's why you're the production manager.
yeah, something like
I,
that.
I'm just the eye candy.
Yeah. Why don't we get your listen, I know that your wife is around somewhere. We could
She went back upstairs. So,
okay. Get her to see if
Oh.
she agrees with that or not.
something important this past week, Whitey.
Okay.
The old Hall of Famer and I went out and walked through the woods in the afternoon.
Well, see, now I was wondering, since we're doing this now, if this gets me like maybe a little closer to the inner circle where maybe I get to, because mushroom hunting has not ever worked out for me.
Well, we don't want to bring that jinx, that curse upon the inner circle.
I would
I
hex
was a
it.
little concerned, he's got a little hitch in his giddy up and,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, I'm not gonna have to carry you out of the woods, am I? Because that's the blind leading the blind there. So luckily we can side by side back to where we're at. It was the woods were damp and the leaves are the color of mushrooms now because they were wet. And it just wasn't looking, it was bad. We were, I usually find the first one in the 50 years we have hunted together. I always find the first mushroom. He probably finds more, but I always find the first one every year. And we're just not getting anything. And I'm like, shit, we can't get shut out. And then all of a sudden he goes, hey, I got one. And I thought, oh no. Well, then as he steps over a big limb that was down, he lost it. So I had to go find it again for him. So
does that
technically I picked the first one, but he found it. Like when I was real little, like 7, he'd say, hey, there's one there. And I'd, go pick it. So but we only found one. We need the weather to warm up. So I don't know.
Well,
it looks promising, but then it's back in the 50s next weekend. So
I guess I don't know.
The calendar says they should be up.
It was pretty warm today as it turns out. And maybe
it got up to 70, but it was breezy. But yeah, we need sunshine and we need warmth to warm up the temperature of the ground. I don't know.
Well, let me tell you, the worst thing that I can think of regarding mushroom hunting was that when I was a kid, we had these neighbors that went out and they found like garbage bags full of them. Okay. And they would never tell us where they found them. And so they moved.
Wouldn't take you?
No. But when they moved, they left town and they said, this is our spot. You can know now that this is where we go. And we always just find.
Was it Sean's produce?
I don't know. And to this day, I don't know if they were screwing with us or what, but when the time seemed right, when the conditions seemed like they should have been good, we went and we were so excited. We're finally going to find some because my dad and I never had much luck. We go and we didn't find a damn thing. Only he went out one time without me and found a bunch. And I got to tell you, nothing ever tasted better. Nothing ever tasted better than that batch of mushrooms that we fried up. But
I see a common denominator here, Whitey. When I was in college getting my master's, so this is 35 years ago. No, I wasn't married yet. Yeah, 32, 33 years ago. I brought one of my roommates down with me to our good patch with my dad and my cousin, and he got lost. We hunt in an area, really, when you draw it out, if you plotted a baseball field and a softball field, probably not much bigger than that. And he ended up, didn't like the way it was looking. He started walking over hills and hollers. We spent more time finding him, and we found a bunch. He goes, where'd you find those? And I go, well, as soon as you left, we started picking them. So yeah.
I can't goof on the guy too much. One time I was out with some buddies and got turned around out in the woods, and at a certain point I realized, like, if I wanted to walk back to where we were parked, it was going to be worse than just walking out of the woods and calling somebody and saying, on the other side of the woods. Now, we had cell phones by then because I wasn't born in the dark ages, but I just walked out of the woods on the other side and called somebody to come, and it was my aunt. I called her up and had her come pick me up and take me to where my car was parked. And I didn't really think much of it. But then that year for Christmas, every gift for me from everybody in the family included a compass.
Attaboy.
Which was especially embarrassing because I am an Eagle Scout. But listen, it was very much a work smarter, not harder thing for me. I just didn't want to.
Buddy, I don't know. When I was in college at Eastern, I thought, I can find mushrooms. So I just drove south of Charleston and started driving and saw some woods and pulled over in this lane and went in. I found mushrooms.
Yeah, there's lots of woods around campus. I mean, we really
I was probably a couple miles south of town, and and there was people's house right there. I don't know. Nobody shot me or shot at me, but
we really should put the university. We should be putting that on our promotional material. Like it's something to do. Something to do when you're in Charleston. Is doing.
Well, a lot of people would go down to that state park, and I never heard anybody find them down there. But no, then I'd take some of my roommates and we'd go down the next week. We'd find some more. Never a lot, but you felt like it was an accomplishment because this was out of the blue. This wasn't the family hand-me-down patch from 50 years where you just know at this tree, I'm going to start finding them.
Well, I think, I might just camp outside sometime. I'll just stake your house out and wait for you to leave and follow.
I'll check with the old Hall of Famer, and that's, you may have to be blindfolded. I don't know. We'll have to
yeah, a shroud, like a stocking, like a ski mask with the eye holes.
Most people who have gone with us have returned. Maybe not all, but most.
Well, I don't know. Anyway, the only other thing I could think to talk about, we got baseball this week. Not enough games to really draw any conclusions from. We didn't all get to play the Pirates this weekend, so
we got thumped by them today.
Yeah, I saw that. Steven Matz. Well, it's because he knows
it's two really good innings.
Yeah,
and then he couldn't. Then they had 7 straight hits.
Yeah, it's not the lineup that's going to kill the Pirates over the course of the season. They don't have any. They got no pitching.
Cardinals had 3 in the first. I like the Cardinal lineup. I did not see if Dickerson DH today or not. I assume he did again today. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think Pujols only played the one. He played.
Yeah, he played opening day. But now I watched, since I don't have Bally, I had to go back and watch the on YouTube and find the opening day ceremonies. When they brought out the Hall of Famers and the Cardinal Hall of Famers, Mike Shannon could barely get out of the car.
That's what I heard. I heard he
barely get to stand in line. And he was calling games on the radio a year ago.
Yeah, it was a very limited number of games last year.
Yeah, but why did he look bad?
Yeah, it's amazing that you'll have a guy like Vince Scully that just does it into their 90s, and you would never know by listening to him. Everybody's it's you just hope that he gets to he's able to relax and
Shannon and Tim McCarver didn't look really healthy. We've lost Gibson and Brock, who were obviously 2 fan favorites. Of all the Hall of Famers, Willie McGee is the biggest favorite of them all. He's the most beloved, even more than Ozzie. But it was interesting. And
some teams got to hand out World Series rings this weekend. I don't know.
Yeah. Did Freddie Freeman show up to get his, or was he not there?
Yeah, I think sometime in July he's going to get his. So
okay.
Matt Olson.
And what's the deal? The Cubs and the Brewers are already having bench clearing Like
Oh,
7
well,
people were hit in that series.
yeah, I mean, I mostly know Cubs fans, of course, and they get hit by a lot of pitches, but in the past it's always been guys like Rizzo and Contreras who, especially Rizzo, dives over the plate,
Well, yeah, he stood in the middle of the plate.
and Contreras gets hit by a lot of pitches, and people get worked up because he gets worked up. I mean, I
Yeah.
like him. I like him as a player, but he's a little on the thin skin side sometimes
Yeah.
in my
Well,
in my opinion. And that's coming
saw
from I've plenty of guys like that have played for the Braves over the years. So
yeah, well, I saw McCutcheon, and he didn't like it. He got plucked in the ribs or the buttocks, but he didn't charge, but he let them know he was not very happy.
yeah, I think McCutcheon. I think Milwaukee's going to end up being a really good landing spot for him where he can just hit.
I did like,
He's still got some miles on the tires if he's used, if he doesn't have to go out there and play in the outfield. So
yeah, he was always a very skilled player. I like him a lot.
he's a good. He seems anyway. I mean, we don't know these people, but he gives every impression that he's a fun guy, a good guy.
Hey, I should have got an attaboy. Didn't I tell you where Crubello was going to land in the portal?
I mean, everybody's in the portal. I mean,
My understanding was he's already found a spot.
what's that?
St. John's. I told you that on here. I said he's going back home. He's going to St. John's.
Well, that'll be fine. Illinois had a good week on the recruiting.
I guess that kid they got, that Guy
Clark, yeah.
Yeah, I guess he's pretty good.
5 stars.
He'll be on the all hair team.
Listen, I appreciate a guy with lots of hair. So
did you see all the guys that St. Peter's have entered the portal?
Yeah.
And who was the 6th man off the bench that made all the threes? Herbert? No.
You're putting me on the spot and I'm not prepared.
Doug was his name. Doug, Herbert.
It's
had the little porn star mustache.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. He signed to go to, I won't say Bryant. Well, their coach left, went to Seton Hall.
Sure.
And that's what, in my opinion, that's what the portal is designed for. When a coach leaves, those kids can leave. Or if a kid's, it's when you start seeing these people that are playing 3 schools in 3 years, hey, maybe it's the kid.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Like LSU has a situation where basically
they lost everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. We probably maybe already touched on this because that's not a new development, but I don't know. My basic philosophy with college basketball is I'm just gonna wait. I'll just pick it up in 2 or 3 months and see where the chips have fallen.
Well, there's some collateral damage that has to be coming soon with the Nike deal and some big name programs.
Yeah, I don't
Possibly
know.
The national champion has a cloud hanging over them.
Well, definitely a cloud. I'm pretty jaded at this point to think that any real consequences will befall anybody that matters.
Seems like the blue bloods are Teflon to that.
Yeah, they, because they make a lot of people a lot of money also.
Well, I remember when they went after Rick Majerus real hard at Utah for taking a kid to lunch and buying him a pizza.
Yeah.
They got put on sanctions and all the crap that was going on other places, and they went after Utah.
Yeah, I'm not one to take NCAA particularly seriously. It's very much.
Well, they didn't even know who their national champion was. They introduced them as Kansas City Jayhawks. Come on. That was your moment. You had one job. You had one job.
Well, at least you got the nickname right. I mean,
Kansas City.
He didn't call
so then he's getting booed
or something like that.
Well, then he's getting booed, and he tried to fix it. And of course, you couldn't hear him because he was getting booed. So, and I saw Trace Jackson Davis from Indiana entered the draft, but he is leaving the chance to come back as an option.
Yeah, I've
I've only seen one mock draft where he's even considered a first or second round pick, or going in the first 2 rounds, and it's low to mid to low second. Everybody else has him a free agent. Why would you go be a free agent? Stay in college. You can get that money with endorsements now.
Well, and that's the thing. I think that's what yeah, I mean, that's like what a Kofi Coburn is thinking is like at this point, you probably make more money staying in college,
Well, you're not going to make more. Well,
you might, like we're talking.
There's so many things in his game he needs to get better at. He really does.
Yeah, no, and I actually think
in the NBA, you just don't dunk.
Yeah, and I think landing a big time recruit, I mean, really probably the biggest recruit they've landed since I can remember. They just typically don't come through on those 5-star guys very often. I think mostly
yeah.
I don't know why actually. Coaches just not being able to seal the deal. But that probably goes a long way to getting a guy like him to, come back.
Deion Thomas may be the most high profile person before him they got, and then they got in trouble during that.
Yeah, and that's
supposedly. I'm never going to come out and say it was.
I was pretty young then, so that's almost before my time. I remember watching.
Possibly he was supposed to be part of the Fab Five.
Yeah, I remember. I've it's all secondhand stuff for me. But anyway, yeah, eventually these guys will have to know where they're going, and once we do, like I saw some pre-season, like somebody had already put out a top 25 list for next season. What is the point? Like
you don't know who's going to be where.
Yeah, like I don't even know.
I agree with that 100%. Don't just so you can put out a ranking. That's kind of what they're
that's
doing.
basically it. It gets the clicks, so whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll talk some baseball here as the season gets going. Why not? I'm certainly glad to have it back, and
we got the Pirates, one more with the Pirates, and then the Royals, and then the Brewers.
Yeah.
It may be the angry Brewers when they come. I think the Cardinals go to Milwaukee though.
Milwaukee's pretty good, pretty salty club, although their Burns and Woodruff duo did not fare well against the Cubs this
week. Was it Corbin who went 58 innings or 58 strikeouts before his first walk last year? Corbin Burns, and then this year he walked the first batter he faced.
Yeah, he walked a couple of guys in that start actually. So that's I think he'll probably be all right by the time it's all said and done. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. And the Cubs, they got some hitting out of their Japanese import. Seiya Suzuki hit a home run today, so that's fun. I don't necessarily fully approve of the way the Cubs have gone about things as far as their roster goes, but
you can get rid of everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. Certain teams just don't need to operate on a budget. They can still be profitable and successful, and they shouldn't have to be worrying about the bottom line so much. But that's just not the way. That's not the way Major League Baseball teams do it. And this new CBA didn't really. There was some headway made, but not much. So
well, I think I saw where Theo Epstein wants to blow up the tanking for a good team theory.
Yeah,
he wants to kill the monster he helped create.
Well, I just don't know how I'm really not sure how you do that, I don't know how you get people to agree to it. So we'll see. I prefer teams I just wish teams I would like to see a team just try year in and year out. Every team do that. And there's ways to do it, without having to completely strip it down to the studs, but it involves spending money. And so that's why it won't happen. So anyway, I don't have to get too angry about this stuff because I'm in the honeymoon period right now. I don't have to care if my team wins the World Series for at least the next 2 or 3 years, right? So not like I don't know, when's the last time the Cardinals won one? It's been a long time. I can't remember.
2011.
Yeah, boy, more than a decade.
Oh,
must be so tough.
Whatever.
All right. Well, have we talked enough?
We're good. Hey, one thing I got to ask you. I saw Eastern's having a special day here in Effingham coming up.
I don't know.
They're going to be at somewhere. I don't remember where I saw they were going to be, but Tommy Michael and Coach Simmons and
Oh.
the football coach were all going to be in attendance.
I don't know. It sounds interesting.
Effingham alum.
I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I
See
do
what
know.
you can find. See what you can find out for me.
I do know that Tom Michael, I'll occasionally cross paths with him on campus because I go over to Lance and run.
Does he say how's Wills doing when you see him?
He that's never no, but I can't say I've ever name dropped you. So who knows? But nice guy, super friendly. He'll say hi to you out of nowhere. So
well, I think he's trying to do a good thing, and it's just it's so hard. You're in that tweener. Are we D1? Are we 1AA? Okay, yeah, man, it'd be great. Why couldn't Eastern be the next St. Peter's?
Yeah, it's
John Morant graduated, so that helped, and now they're out of the conference, so that helped.
Yeah, although they're still in it for some stuff this year. I think maybe I forget how it all works.
Murray State.
Yeah, it's sort of a transition period for them.
I mean, I can remember when Kevin Duckworth and the boys played Indiana in the NCAA tournament back in '90. Oh, I don't know. I was at Hudsonville.
It is tough. I think with Eastern, the tough thing with recruiting is the facilities. It's kind of hard to impress a young player to come play in the places that they have.
Hey, I love playing the intramural championship games in Lance, but
yeah,
it's just
at this point. I mean, I don't know. It's my employer. I don't want to get too critical, but
right. But you're right. Facilities are a big thing that's got to draw people in. It's just, and if it's Marty starting to get some people in and have a little success, unfortunately he had to rely on the portal this past year, and that was tough. But I like him. I've known him a while. We've had him on here. I hope the heck he has a chance to get some success and start hanging W's.
Yeah, you got to build. It's kind of a from the ground up situation with the men's basketball there right now. The women's basketball team is, they had a pretty dark period a few years ago, and their Bollant has gotten them, hitting in the right.
They're in the middle of the pack in the conference.
Yeah, but again, it's just
not where they were back in the Tony Collins days, but they're getting there.
The thing is that the facilities thing isn't going to change because you're not going to get like a basketball arena in Charleston. It's just not happening. So
you'd have to fill in the pond.
Yep, you're gonna have to figure other things out, and a lot of it's just going to be based on success. It's like saying come play for a winner.
Baseball and softball seem to be having some success this year.
The baseball team's off to a great start, especially, but the softball team. Let me tell you something. This is neither here nor there, but they were doing some photos over in Lance when I was over there one day, and the softball team, their uniforms are sharp as hell. Like I love those things, man. They were very cool. All black. I know they've probably got more than one iteration of it, but these were all black with the stripe across the front. Very, very good. So anyway, I'll try to find out a little bit more about whatever this.
You can find out about that. That sounds like something I'd like to at least go to and say hello to Marty.
Sounds good. All right. Well, I guess until next week, Mike. We'll see.
Bud. Now I got to think who our guest is going to be next week. I had a media person, but then they couldn't, and it worked out perfect because then Macy did what she did, and I thought, well, there's a perfect segue. So I've got to just see where we're at.
Okay, well, we'll figure things
and
out.
Danny Winkler went to Round Rock, AAA.
I saw that. Spencer Patton is on the active roster for the Rangers. And
where did Ben Heck get assigned?
Ben Hecht, I don't know. I do know that in the first two games of the season, Chad Green saw action for the Yankees.
Had an inning both games.
Yeah. So
kind of that put the fire out or be our pressure guy in like the 5th and 6th.
Chad's never going to. Chad's probably not ever going to be a star. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's 30.
He's going to be a
whatever.
very valuable member of a bullpen.
Yeah, and he's making a hell of a living at it too. Let me tell you something. Like
He's doing all right.
it's pretty cool. Every time I see him on TV, I think it's pretty cool that he's just having a career. You know, he's thrown 300 and whatever innings, probably closer to 400 at this point.
Well, every time you see the Yankees on TV, they talk about their bullpen, and he's one of the 2 or 3 guys they mention every time.
And again, he's probably also he's had a few chances, you know, here and there,
Yeah.
8th, 9th inning stuff, but you know, just getting regular action and being a reliable guy for so many years. He's had a long career already. It's something else. So
All
right. Well, we will we'll talk probably same time, same place next week, something like that. But,
well, it's going to be Easter, but we should be able to.
oh yeah, it is going to be Easter.
We'll play it by ear. Let's decide we'll talk this week what we want to do.
Yeah, that's I never really thought about that. Yeah, so
I mean, all my kids are going to be home, but they'll all be gone back to their locations by later in the day.
it'll have been a big day at our house by the evening, so it could
I just
be,
have to schedule my nap is all. I'll be okay.
you know, people probably wouldn't riot if we took a week.
All right. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get anybody lined up. And if somebody wants to talk to us, great. If not, then let's just take a week off and observe the holidays.
Sounds good. All right, Mike, have a good week. Talk to you when I talk to you.
You're Whitey.
All right, later.